Chapter 3 Ben and the Robin. Walking along the paths by the gardens, Mary couldn't help but think about the locked-up garden. How could such a thing be shut up? Couldn't you always walk in a garden? She kept walking, wondering what the garden looked like. Suddenly, she came upon an old man with a spade, who was bent over the earth planting seeds. He was startled to see Mary, but he tipped his hat politely and went back to planting. "What is this place?" Mary asked, again not bothering to introduce herself. She was looking at all the plain bushes around her with a displeased expression on her face. "One of the kitchen gardens," he answered. "The vegetables for the manor are all grown here." "And that?" she demanded, pointing to a green door. "Another kitchen garden," the old man replied shortly, displeased by Mary's intrusion. "Can I go in there?" Mary asked. "If you want to," he answered with a shrug. "But there's nothing to see." Mary didn't respond. Instead, she walked down the path and through the door. The man had been right. The garden had only winter vegetables. Over on the other side of the garden, Mary saw another green door. "Maybe that's the door to the mysterious garden," she thought. Without hesitating, she ran to the door, hoping that it wouldn't open, and that it was a mysterious locked door. But it opened quite easily, and she found herself in an orchard with fruit trees. Mary looked around anxiously, but there were no more green doors. What she did see, however, was a high wall covered with ivy. It was a long wall, too, and it seemed to go on and on. Over the top of it, Mary saw treetops and birds sitting on a high branch and staring down at her. A robin burst into song, as if he were singing to Mary. Although Mary was feeling sad and lonely, she managed to smile and continued to listen to him sing until he flew away over the wall. She wondered if the mysterious locked-up garden was on the other side of the wall, and if the robin lived there. On her way back to the manor, Mary thought and thought about the garden. She was so curious she felt she might burst. She dreamed of what it might look like, and she wondered why her uncle had locked it and buried the key. Would she ever meet her uncle? If she did, would she be brave enough to ask him about the garden? While thinking all these thoughts, she came again upon the old man, who was still digging and planting in the vegetable garden. Mary stood beside him for a while, and then finally spoke. "I have been in the other gardens," she announced, "and in the orchard." The man kept digging and didn't respond. Like Martha, he just didn't like Mary's rudeness. "But there was no door into this other garden," Mary said. The man put down his spade and cast a stern look at Mary. "What garden?" he asked. "The one on the other side of the high wall," Mary replied. "I know there is a garden there. I saw the tops of the trees, and a bird with a red breast flew in there." She waited to hear what the old man would say, but he didn't say anything. Instead, he turned toward the orchard and whistled. Suddenly, there was a whooshing noise above her head, and Mary gazed up. The robin! He had answered the old man's call. Mary watched as the robin flew about, circling the old man. He certainly was a charming, friendly little bird. The gardener watched the bird for a while, then turned to Mary. "Are you Lord Craven's niece from India?" he asked. Mary nodded. "Who are you?" she asked. "Ben Weatherstaff," the gardener answered. Then he pointed to the robin. "And this here is my only friend." Mary gazed admiringly at the robin, which was pecking at the earth, looking for food. "I have no friends at all," she said flatly. "I never have had any. My Ayah didn't even like me, and I never played with anyone." Ben Weatherstaff stared at Mary. She was obviously a very lonely little girl. Seeing her thin, pale face and her sad eyes, he felt sorry for her. Suddenly, the robin burst into song and landed on a branch right beside Mary. "Looks like you have a friend now," Ben Weatherstaff chuckled. Mary reached out for the robin, but he flew up and away, over the gardens and over the orchard wall. "Does he live in that garden?" Mary asked. "The one over the high wall?" "Probably," Ben Weatherstaff answered, "among the rose trees." "Oh, there are rose trees there?" Mary asked excitedly. "Have you been there?" Ben Weatherstaff picked up his spade and began to dig again. "A long time ago," he mumbled. "I should like to see the garden," Mary announced suddenly. "Where's the door?" "There must be a door somewhere." Ben Weatherstaff shifted uncomfortably. "Listen, I must get back to work. You shouldn't go poking around here. Now go on. I have no more time for you." With that, he flung his spade over his shoulder and walked off, without even saying goodbye.